Mhm. I was looking for that Quisling, and there is what's known as the United States. Yes. Uh-huh. And it's been around a little while. Yes. But in earlier times, schools were thought necessary only for those who were to become ministers, lawyers, and teachers. Oh. I thought we had a compulsory education in the United States. Now, there's been a lot of different flags in the United States. Yes. The Confederacy, the Union flag, the Confederate flag. Yes. Uh-huh. And then there was what is known as the Emancipation Proclamation. The war ended in April 1865. And then Lincoln was assassinated. Ouch. Now, the country was reunited, and that's maybe when we passed that 13th and 14th Amendment. Then there was a guy named Alexander Graham Bell. He patented the exposition showed great progress the United States had made within its first 100 years. The 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 1876. Do you remember that? Now, I'm just wanting to know how it is that the United States, yes, got it into their minds that we just cover up these things. We never ever actually publicize any misprison of felony. Yes. Now, my thought. Oh, 1783, Alaska. Yes. We bought that state. Now, this Quisling, where we go around the world saying, "Oh, German Kaiser." Yes. That. Well, we know that you're not in the family, but we want you to support our new order of doing things where we cover up everything that we don't want. Hmm. National Labor Relations Act, the NRA. I emailed the NRA, and maybe you could get me all the members of the NRA again. Yes. Because they told me, well, we're sorry, Mr. Budnick, we don't represent those that are having their Second Amendment rights violated. And just thinking about the issuance of these protection orders, yeah, where you issued it for 10 years, and then the Terry stops where you just question a person, you don't detain them, you don't arrest them. Yes. The issuing of warrants for the individual's arrests, because they're named as the respondent of actual protection orders. Yeah. You would think that you'd have to question them before you could charge them with a crime or issue a warrant for their arrest. Now, since it's going to be 2030 before I can motion the court of record, yeah, and that's approximately 11 years from now, I'll be about 60 years old. Yes. And considering the amount of time that these judicial proceedings take, could be 2, 3, 4 years, poop. I might be able to get my Second Amendment rights enforced sometime around when I'm 65 to 70 years old. Yes. My thought was when you use forgery and fraud to issue protection orders, yes, or you can't get it expunged from your record, you can't get it removed or sealed from your public court record, yes, that there is a very great violating of my Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Now, let's say you know a misprison of treason, misprison of felony. Yes, you do. You know of kidnapping. Oh. I think I can sue the NRA and their membership. One of these class action lawsuits of the organizations and associations of those that represent gun owners. Yes, he does. Because they do have the legal obligation to protect the individual rights to the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Yes. Now, let's say I went to apply for a gun permit today. Pouch! And they do a background check. Yes. In fact, get my background check and my criminal records. Yes. And then I look at it and I say, well, there was arrest that took place in 2012. Yes. But you didn't enforce the expungement order. No. I was not guilty, but it's my job. Yes. To motion the court to have that sealed so that it doesn't show that I was detained, arrested, and tried. Oh, And then you reissue the protection order a week after my wife filed for dissolution of marriage. Yes, we did. Without waiting for a verdict from the jury. No! Now, you used a minute order, and I don't see that a minute order is anywhere in the RCWs. Oh. And it looked like there was some abuse of power in the issuance of that second protection order. Let's go ahead. Because the first protection order, I was a resident of Guam. Yes, he was. Now, considering that you reissued it while I was on trial and I was found not guilty, I still, yes, even with a not guilty verdict, have the actual obligation to ask the state to remove it from my criminal record. Yes, he does. That's going to take me a lot of time and a lot of money. Boosh! Probably involves an attorney somewhere along the line. Yes. And then there's a whole idea of me having state issued identification. Peep! Now, I know you said you're not going to put my height and my weight back to the way it was on my driver's license. But without valid state identification, I will never be able to have ownership of any gun. Pow! Now, let's say that Second Amendment right. Pow! No, let's say it, okay? Without valid state ID. Yes. I'm sure that I could do one of these class actions. Yes, he could. Well, you thought it was probable cause that the individual was in Sequim, Washington on December 31st, 2015. Now, let's say I was the lead plaintiff. Poop! I decided it was a $100 billion day. Yes! I could go through the criminal records of every person that has a criminal record. Let's get it. And then I could look at it. Well, were you found not guilty? Yes. Well, sometimes this finding an individual not guilty means more than you're not guilty. Yes, it means you shouldn't have been arrested. That's right. That's right. Now, let's say you just went probable cause all day long, every day, right now. Because I think I'm suing the NRA. Pooch! I'm going to want the membership of the NRA. Yes, he does.